Hi, this is Yarden and Frankel.
And I'm Pesach Benson. We're with Honest Reporting.
We're doing our weekly podcast where we discuss how the media are covering Israel. And I guess the big story right now is what happened out at sea.
The showdown between the Israeli Navy and the Free Gaza movement.
What we found initially is most of the media is very troubling. They described it as a humanitarian mission, or like I'm reading the Washington Post right now, it says Israel's raid on a flotilla of Gaza-bound aid ships, and really tried to accent the point that this is simply ships filled with rice and beans, and they're trying to help the people of Gaza.
It's really a misuse of language by the media, because the group that organized this flotilla, a Turkish non-governmental organization, they've been organizing this as a provocation, because they wanted to get something started up with Israel.
It's clear. Israel said from day one, listen, you guys want to send food to Gaza? That's fine. Let's bring it to Ashdod. We just want to check it out because we are at war with the Hamas terrorists who control the Gaza Strip. We want to make sure that there's no bombs or guns in there. But if it's just humanitarian aid, then we'll slap a green sticker on it and send it right into Gaza. But the flotilla, the organization behind it, they refused. They said no way.
Yeah, they're playing for the cameras. They want the fight. They want the showdown with Israel because they want to embarrass Israel in front of the world.
Right.
What they're doing isn't humanitarian motivated. It's politically motivated.
Right. The more accurate was actually Reuters, and I'm not saying that Reuters is always the most accurate on Israel, but their lead over here says that they described it as a Turkish ship trying to break a blockade of Gaza. And that's the important thing. This isn't a blockade of food on Gaza, because there are how many trucks going every week into Gaza?
Thousands of trucks every week. There's thousands of trucks.
Right. And as I said, there was a way to get aid there, but they wanted to make a political statement. So this is not just feeding people in Gaza. This is telling the Israelis, we're going to break your blockade, because we support Hamas. And I have to remind people, Hamas, they're the ones who, they continue every now and then. They're firing rockets in, and they're trying to build up their weapons. Now, I have to say that a lot of what we've seen in the media is not bad. It's certainly a lot better than during the Gaza war, and I think Israel has learned a lesson, and Israel was very quick getting video footage out there.
I got to credit the Israeli army for getting videos out. They towed the ships back to Ashdod relatively quickly, and they got statements from the commandos, describing what was on the fighting on board.
The fact is, on a lot of the major media, you can see that video taken from a helicopter, and clearly the Israeli commandos who boarded the ship, as soon as they got on the ship, they were being beaten, stabbed.
Beaten with crowbars, stabbed with knives. These aren't peace activists. That's not what peace activists do.
Right.
This is only. By the way, I have to add. This is only one ship. The other ships in the flotilla, they didn't have this kind of.
Let me tell you, they were smart. You have a bunch of Israeli naval commandos land aboard ship and tell you, put your hands up. You do what they say. You come after them with a knife or a rod or something, they're going to be defending themselves.
That's not peace activism. That's a military response.
Did anybody catch that? Even though everybody knew who was on these ships and it could be dangerous, the Israeli commandos, when they came down, they were told non-lethal force until their lives were in danger. They had, did you read this, paintball guns?
Yeah, they were expecting riot dispersal, at best. They weren't expecting, this kind of physical combat.
It was only after a few of the soldiers went down and had their handguns taken from them, and the mob started mercilessly beating them, that they got the okay, go ahead, start shooting, defend yourselves, because listen, we don't want a bunch of dead soldiers over here. But it is a tragedy. It is regretful. But once again, like we've seen time and time again, the ones responsible are the ones who said, we're not going to listen to Israel. We're going to break their blockade. We're going to come right into Gaza, and we're not going to let the Israelis stop us.
The organization IHH, which organized this, this flotilla, the Turkish government, they're the ones who are responsible for this.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I tell you, this situation is fluid. We have news breaking all the time. And if you want to follow the facts about what's going on, go to our website, HonestReporting.com.
We're also on Facebook. We're also on Twitter.
We're constantly updating this stuff, because I can tell you, those who hate Israel, they're going to be pushing the propaganda line, just like we've seen remember the Gaza Beach massacre that they set up that turned out to be untrue, and they're going to push this as the Israeli massacre at sea. And if you care about Israel, you've got to stand up to this.
So for Honest Reporting, I'm Pesach Benson.
And I'm Yarden Frankel. We'll talk to you next week.